It's October 15, 2024. The Lawrence Board of Zoning Appeals is called to order at this time. I need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from June 18, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Minutes stand as written. If you have not done so, please sign in at the back of the room, and anyone wishing to speak tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Answer with I do. I do. Thank you. Do we have any special requests tonight?
I do. Thank you, Kath.
Do we have any special requests tonight, continuance, withdrawals, or waivers?
Yes, ma'am. Petition 24 LSE 03 for 4330 North Post Road requested a continuance to 11/19/24. This is the first petitioner's request for continuance, so it is automatic and it will be with notice. And then the city is requesting a petition to continue number 24 LSES 06 for 4700 North Post Road. This is an automatic continuance with notice.
Hey, thank you, Renee.
We have four, so
We're all right.
we're okay.
Right.
So we don't need to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. New business. We're ready to hear 24 LSV 04 10751 Birch Tree Court. Variance of development standards of the City of Indianapolis Consolidated Zoning Subdivision Ordinance Table 742-10-103-4 D2 District Dimensional Standards to allow a rear setback of 20 feet, which 25 is required. Please step up to the mic, state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Sarah Black at 10751 Birch Tree Court, Indianapolis 46236.
Thank you. Go ahead, present your case.
Okay, I am trying to build a screen-in porch rather than just the deck that has to be rebuilt because it's rotted. And in order to do that, it now becomes an addition. And as an addition, I would need an additional 5-foot setback from the property line or from the water line, drainage easement, thank you, to do so. But everything is, even if I didn't get the porch, everything would be in the same footing as the deck. Nothing is going to be built out any further or.
My understanding is the steps. That's the only thing we're concerned about tonight is the steps that are there are going to stay there. They're just going to be redone.
Exactly.
Correct? But since this now is considered an addition, it's now into the drainage, correct?
Correct.
That's what my understanding is.
Yes.
That's correct.
Anything else? Any additional information?
That's it. It's so wooded that it really should not be a problem for anybody. And at this point, the steps have been there with the deck, so they have never caused a problem. And I don't suspect that they would.
Does the board have any questions for her?
I suppose the only question I have is, as far as it being, as I recall, the reason for replacing it was because they were rotted. They were rotted, is that what it is?
The whole deck is rotted. It was built with the house.
Okay. And so then the question is, because now this is going further into the drainage ditch easement,
Not going any further into it.
it's going exactly where it is?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, so the ordinance changed?
Everything's the same.
Is that what it is?
No.
No. So what happened is the deck was built with the original construction of the home, and it was not noticed 30 years ago that the last couple steps encroach into the drainage easement.
I see.
When we went to issue permits for her to rebuild it,
Came up.
it was discovered. So just for paperwork purposes, we wanted to get an official variance on board, on record. But our staff report, there's no changes except for part of the deck that's there now will now have a sunroom, but there's no additional square footage being added into the drainage easement.
Understood. Yeah, I suppose my only concern would be if that it's in the drain, if it's not set back and that's what's causing the rot. But for my purposes, I'm not really concerned about that. That's just the only question I could come up with.
Any other questions?
Ma'am.
No, I have none.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We'll hear from anybody for or against the petition. You can have a
The
seat.
only person that would even be affected at all, if you could see through the woods, would be the guy directly behind me, and he came over to my house the other day, and he said, I just got this letter and I don't understand it. We've been in Florida, and I said, well, I explained to him, I said, well, instead of this deck, it'll be exactly like it is, except for instead of a deck, there would be a screened porch. And he said, I said, and it will be really very nice, and he says, I'm sure it will be. And so he said it was fine with him, you know, no problems. And that was my big concern, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just have a seat. Anybody out here for or against this petition? I see we have some counselors here tonight. Do any of you care to speak? Okay, thank you. Now we will hear from the City of Lawrence.
As stated before, this is literally a replacement of an existing structure with a minor change on the deck itself, getting a sunroom. We recommend approval.
Any questions for Renee? Thank you. With
Be clear, so the current, although it's in a drainage now, that's not causing any problems,
No,
right?
sir, it's not causing any drainage issues in that area.
Right, okay, thank you.
Petitioner, you have anything else to add? Okay. Again, remonstrators, with there not being any, we will now vote on 24 LSV 04 10751 Birch Tree Court, variance of development standard of the City of Indianapolis Consolidated Zoning Subdivision Ordinance, Table 742-103-4, a D2 district dimensional standards to allow a rear setback of 20 feet instead of 25. The board has unanimously granted your petition, ma'am. Now we will hear from petitioner 24, LSV 05 10825 East 63rd Street, a variance of development standard of the City of Indianapolis Consolidated Zoning Subdivision Ordinance, Table 742-103-1, DA District Dimensional Standards to reduce the minimum open space requirement to 79% instead of the 85%. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Joe Hyde. I'm with American Sun Space. I'm the contractor representing Donald and his wife Kathy Heinzelman. This is his son, Chuck Heinzelman. We're looking at installing a 12 by 14, or was it 12 by 16? 12 by 14, four-season sunroom on the back of their house. This is something that they've always wanted. It's going to come off their bedroom. There's going to be no door off the sunroom. We're going to be cutting a hole in their wall, putting in French doors so they can lead into their sunroom and enjoy their glory years and be able to enjoy the sunroom. The issue comes into play is the volume, and this is where we're going to let Chuck take over.
Chuck Heinzelman, 8152 Castilla Drive, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm the property owner and son. But the issue that we're facing is that because on the south side of 63rd Street, we're considered dwelling agricultural, which has the FAR requirement of 85%. But, directly across the street from us and around us is the D2 dwelling district zoning, which only has a 75% requirement for FAR. So this will be coming off of the back of the house. It won't be visible from the street. It won't impact any of the neighbors. There's the neighbor to the, I got to get my directions here, to the west is wooded. You can't even see the house. To the east is another single-story house. Again, they'll be able to see the new sunroom. But we don't believe that it will have any negative impact on the neighborhood. And again, we're only asking for an FAR of around 79%, which is still in compliance when you look at adjoining zoning.
Okay. And then you have a garage and shed in the back, correct?
Correct. And that was an existing building when we built the house almost 20 years ago.
Okay. Board have any questions?
None at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
With no questions from the board, do we have any remonstrators for or against this petition? With none having none, City of Lawrence?
The City of Lawrence reviewed this request and recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Council people, any of you care to? Okay, thank you. Petitioner, anything else to add? With there being no remonstrators, then the board is ready to vote on 24 LSV 05, 10825 East 63rd Street, a variance of development standard of the City of Indianapolis Consolidating Zoning Subdivision Ordinance, Table 742, 103-1, a DA district dimensional standard to reduce the minimum open space requirement to 79%, 85 is required. The board has unanimously granted your petition, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please step up to the mic, please.
So the next process, we have to redo to get the ILP from Marion County?
You're going to need the approval letter to do that. I'll get that ready for you tomorrow and send it over.
Okay, that's all, I just want to see if it can be
You'll have
fast
to
tracked, because it's taken like 30 days to get anything from them.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you'll upload the approval letter from the board
Okay,
to the improvement location permit application,
okay.
and they'll proceed with processing your
Okay,
request.
so you'll email that to me tomorrow? And
I will.
Okay, perfect, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Renee, is there any cases for next month other than the two that we continued?
We may have one for here on the fort. The deadline is tomorrow, and she was working feverishly on it.
Okay,
And I'm hoping to have that for you.
okay.
So we may have 3 cases for next month.
With no more business tonight, the Lawrence Board of Zoning Appeals is adjourned.